This is Grandstand Digital.
Grandstand Digital.
You're with Andrew Mays.
You can watch the emotion there from Carissa Moore and Stephanie Gilmore. Wow, Joe.
A huge moment for Stephanie Gilmore taking her sixth world title.
Oh my goodness. I feel like there was no way I was this nervous in my first one. But that was like the craziest couple of hours, just sitting and waiting, and oh my goodness, I really had no doubt in my mind that Tyler could take it all the way and win the event, and I was mentally prepared to get out there and do a surf-off.
Well, luckily she didn't need to get out there and do a surf-off because she wrapped up her sixth world title thanks to fellow Australian Tyler Wright, who failed to win her final heat. So it was quite a remarkable day yesterday at Maui. It wasn't too much action for Steph Gilmore out on the water, but it all happened with the cameras panning in on her as she won her sixth world title. Joining us on the line this morning is Tommy Herschell, Grandstand's surfing expert. Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you today?
Very well. What an achievement for Steph Gilmore. She may well be the best surfer Australia will ever produce and maybe the best the world has ever seen. 6 world titles, and she's 26.
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. Look, I made almost a comment about 5 years ago that I was laughed at on a sports show. I said, look, this young woman's capable of winning 10, 12, possibly 15 world titles. And, I mean, she's up to 6 world titles now. She's only 26. She won her first world title her first year out of school. She won 5 pretty much straight in a row. Yeah, and you're right. You know, she's one world title short of Lane Beachley, who pretty much paved the road for all of these young Australians. So I reckon there'd be a very proud Lane Beachley this morning as well, with Steph Gilmore bringing home that 6th world title from Honolulu Bay.
Yeah, if you think about it, I think Lane Beachley was about 33 or 34 when she won her last world title, so that gives Steph so much time to try and chase down her idol. It would be quite something for her to overtake her in the next couple of years too, of course, as you said, having paved the way, Lane Beachley, for so many of these young female surfers in Australia.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Well, what we've seen with women's surfing in the new ASP, we've had a new owner come on board this year, and what they've done is they've elevated the ASP, which is the Association of Surfing Professionals, and they've given the women 2 more events. They've given them a lot more prize money. So what we've seen is performances like no other. I mean, we saw history created yesterday with Steph getting her 6th world title, but literally year-round we've seen history being created with every wave that these women are surfing. It's an incredible time to be a surf journalist, that's for sure. Really proud of these women, what they're doing. I mean, we saw Sally Fitzgibbon, win in Fiji in 8 to 10 foot conditions. We saw Tyler Wright charging the beach breaks of France and Hossegor. It's just been a great year, and, you know, these women are now training, they're professional, they're making good money, so we're seeing the results. So, look, I'm predicting, you know, she's got a battle on her hands now, Steph Gilmore, with winning more world titles. She's got Sally Fitzgibbon and also Tyler Wright. They're right at her heels. And as well, Carissa Moore. I mean, Carissa Moore won 3 events this year. Steph won 3 events. Sally won 2. So, you know, they're all chomping at her heels, mate. Women's surfing is very, very exciting at the moment.
Yeah, it's in a very good spot. Talk to us about Steph's year, because, as you mentioned, she only won 3 titles, which was the same as a few other competitors, but she was just so consistent throughout the year. I think she only finished outside the top 3 about 4 or 5 times. So just incredible consistency throughout the year.
Yeah, look, mate, she started off the year with a win on the Gold Coast. Now, what the biggest thing, I guess, with Steph Gilmore is, you know, 2 years ago she was attacked by a man suffering from severe mental illness on the Gold Coast. She was coming into a home. He attacked her with a crowbar. It broke her wrist. Severely, you know, it broke her almost as an athlete as well. And it took her 2 years to get back to where she has today, you know. So her nickname was Happy Gilmore, and she wasn't happy for a long time. Now she's back winning world titles. And as you mentioned, consistency was number 1. She got a first, 2 thirds, another 2 seconds, another first, a fifth, first and a fifth. So her worst result all year was a 13th, and she dropped that. But you're right, it's consistency. The number one thing she spoke about was how much, though, these young guns, as in Sally Fitzgibbon and Tyler Wright, are chomping at her heels and pushing her along. So, you know, out of all of her 6 world titles, this one was was the sweetest, she says.
Yeah, I know. I watched that interview after she was confirmed as world champion, and she was overcome with emotion. But I think at the same time there was a bit of a realisation that it's going to get harder from here on in too. So how hard is this really going to get for her over the next 3 or 4 years to maintain this run?
Well, look, if we look at the contenders coming up and their personalities, their profile, you've got a young girl in Tyler Wright, whose brother is Owen Wright, who's a top 10 contender in the men's tour. And Tyler surfs totally different to the rest of the girls. She surfs with a very strong backhand technique, but what she also does is she brings a lot of progression to the sport. She's only young. She's a very happy, positive young girl. Now, she's chomping at the heels. She was a bridesmaid last year in the sense she only finished a few thousand points behind Carissa Moore. She's finished very close this year. Then you've got Carissa Moore, who's won 2 world titles. She won 3 events this year. She hails from Hawaii. She's the first Hawaiian actually to win that event in Maui. It's been 9 Australians have won it, a Brazilian, and now finally Hannah Hawaiian has gotten over the line. And then, of course, you've got Sally Fitzgibbons, who unfortunately now has finished up 4 times, as a runner-up in the world title race. And Sally surfs with severe technique. She's one thing she needs to do, I think, if she's going to challenge for a world title, is she's almost got to break out of that mould and be prepared to surf waves a little bit, with a little bit more, just freedom, I guess, and going for it. And then one more, I'd say, would be Malia Manuel from Hawaii. And then actually I'll throw in Courtney Conlog, who was the one who took down Steph Gilmore yesterday. She got a perfect 10. She did an ankle injury in Margaret River at the start of the year, and she was absolutely heartbroken. She's come back now, and, she'll be another one. So, look, I could talk about women's surfing for hours, mate. As I mentioned before, very proud of these ladies, and they're certainly taking surfing to the world, which is a great thing.
Talk to us about the day yesterday, because there was a very nervous wait for Steph Gilmore and absolutely nothing she could do about it, and all the title ambitions were out on the water while she had to sit and watch and, I think, cross everything, fingers, toes and everything.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Well, look, I was there in 2007 when Lane Beachley literally followed that same path. She got knocked out in round 3, and she had to wait for about 6 or 7 results to go her way, and she sat out in the water and waited for it to happen, and she won her world title. And the same yesterday for Steph, sorry. The nerves were there. She had to get the results. Sally Fitzgibbons got knocked out in the next round. So that was literally fell right into a lap. And then she had Tyler Wright. Now, Tyler Wright was literally going for it. She took down Bianca Botendog, and then she came up against Carissa Moore, who, luckily for Steph, was surfing, 10 out of 10. So, look, a very nervous wait there. If you've been to Honolulu Bay, it's probably one of the most picturesque places. It's across from a golf course, which is on the American PGA Tour. It's surrounded by pineapple fields. So, look, if you're going to be stressed, nervous while you wait for your 6th world title, in the shadow of Molokai amongst the pineapples, mate, it's not the worst place in the world. So she'll be on the North Shore now, mate, I reckon, with that world title, and she'll be about to get barreled at Pipeline.
That'd be absolutely fantastic. I couldn't think of a better place to be. Thanks very much for joining us, Tommy, and I'm sure we'll touch base later in the year and get a bit of a wrap on the year of surfing as well.
For sure, Andrew. Sounds good. The men's competition will kick off in around 3 days, in around a week, where Mick Fanning will see him secure his 4th world title. So women's surfing, men's surfing in Australia, it is definitely severely ripe at the moment, mate. Great time to be in the water.
It's been quite the year for Australian surfing. Tommy, thanks very much for joining us.
No problem, Andrew. Thank you very much.